Hey everyone, my name's Mallory and this is my cat Wessie, and in this week's video we're going to be taking a look at our top 6 recommendations for the best cat doors on the market. So first off, cat doors are not for everyone. I'm assuming that by the time you've gotten to this video, you have an understanding of the risks of letting your cat outside. Letting your cat outside unsupervised could get them into some dangerous situations, and it can also present a hazard to the local songbirds and other wildlife populations, and cats can be a bit of a problem for neighbors' property, gardens, other local pets, and so overall, it's generally considered best to keep your cat inside or only let them out supervised. But if you have considered all of these issues and you've still decided that it's going to be a good idea to let your cat go in and out of the house freely, then a cat door could be a really valuable purchase. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the best cat doors on the market, evaluating a variety of doors, all of which suit slightly different sets of needs. So we're going to look at standard doors that allow your cat to go from the indoors to outside, as well as an indoor specific door and a variety of other doors intended for different types of doors and different situations. So with all of that having been said, let's jump into the reviews. So my number one recommendation is CatMate's 4-way locking cat door. What I like about this door is its simplicity and its reputation. So I've read a number of customer reviews on this product, and a lot of people are saying that they've had this door for 10 years or more and it's still going strong. It has a really simple, straightforward design that does just about everything that you would want a cat door to do without a lot of fuss and fluff, and it's also pretty affordable. So overall, I think that this is a really good crowd-pleasing door. So again, this is a really simple cat door. It has a straightforward plastic frame, a plastic flap, and then a couple of little sliding locks. These locks allow you to either lock the door completely, open it up completely so that it can swing freely, or lock it from the inside or the outside. So in total, you have 4 different locking options. So this door is available in a few different styles to suit different types of walls and doors. So I purchased the door intended for very thin doors and screens, and I kind of wish I would have purchased one of their self-lined doors intended for thicker doors. As you can see in this little demonstration here, this door seems to be pretty easy for a cat or even a person like myself to break into, so to speak. So when the door is locked from the outside and intended to allow access from outside in only and prohibit your cat from leaving, it's still possible to stick your hand in there and pull the door back and get outside that way. This issue seems to be more common among the door intended for screens and thin doors than it is on the lined door intended for thicker doors and walls. Although I have seen some reviews saying that cats are able to operate the locks themselves, in general this seems to be pretty rare, and most reviews say that the door is quite secure. Again, while most reviewers say that the door is pretty secure in terms of prohibiting your cat from going out if you don't want them to or coming inside if you don't want them to, it doesn't have the best weatherproofing. So while the door is intended to be rainproof and windproof, and it isn't going to create a lot of draftiness, it's certainly not the best seal. So I would expect to get a little bit of a draft with this door installed. So overall, I would say that this is a simple, functional door that does, again, essentially everything that a cat flap needs to do. Most cats seem to be pretty comfortable using it, and it gets a lot of positive reviews. It's also pretty economical, so this particular door costs about $19.99, depending on where you purchase it. So again, a pretty affordable option. So my next recommendation is certainly not in the simple and straightforward category like the first one. If you're looking for a more advanced door that gives you more control over your cat's movement and allows you to even track how your cat is using the door, then I would opt for an electronic or smart door. And in this category, I would recommend the Sureflap Microchip pet door. I purchased the Connect bundle, which allows you to monitor your cat's activity using the smartphone app. And this is the version of the Sureflap microchip door that I would recommend. Sure Pet Care has a really strong reputation, and this door does everything that you would want an electronic door to do. You're able to get full control over your cat's access to the door, program up to 32 pets, decide which pets are able to go in and out through the door. You're able to set curfew times when your cat's not able to use the door, and you're able to, again, monitor how your cats are using the door. Now, when I tried out this particular door, I didn't really have a long enough testing period to really acclimate my cats to it. Based on the customer reviews that I've read, cats do become used to this and eventually are comfortable using the door. I found that it worked consistently. It would promptly lock and unlock depending on whether or not a registered pet was in the scanning zone, and it would promptly send me notifications, the logs were accurate, and the app was overall quite easy to use. Every part of my experience with this cat door was quite good, and that seems to line up with the experiences that I'm seeing in customer reviews. Obviously, the best way to really keep your cat under control is to keep them inside or only let them outside supervised, but something like this can give you a little bit of that control back and help you to feel a little bit more comfortable with your cat having a door in the home. So the Connect bundle, which includes the little hub that allows you to connect to your smartphone app, costs $250. So overall, this door is a little bit more expensive than your typical cat flap. But again, for a certain type of person, I think that it's well worth the money. So our next recommendation is the best energy efficient door. It's the Freedom Pet Pass. So in general, when you install a cat door, you're going to run into some air leakage and you're going to experience drafts. Most doors are intended to reduce this, but they don't always do the best job. The Freedom Pet Pass is intended to eliminate these issues. So according to the company, it's been tested and proven to reduce air leakage, control drafts, and ultimately help to save you money. So on their website, they say that the door has about the same amount of air leakage as an Energy Star approved window, which is significantly better than the typical cat door. So if you're living in a more harsh climate and you're concerned about wasting money because you have a cat door installed, then the Freedom Pet Pass could be a good option. So this is a pretty basic cat flap. The flap is made from rubber and it is protected in canvas. The door has a couple of different magnets that create a really tight seal every time your cat moves through the door, and this is going to help to prevent air from seeping in and out through the door when your cat uses it. Again, it's a pretty straightforward door. It doesn't have a lot of options in terms of locking. You just get this little security panel that you slide down and then lock in order to prevent your cat from leaving the house. So if, for example, your cat is outside and you want the door to lock after they come in, you're going to have to do that manually. There's no way to set the door to an in-only mode. And while I really liked this door on paper, I found that my cat's experience with it wasn't great. Of all the doors that I tested, I think this was the one that they were the most uncomfortable with. Now, granted, I had a very, very short testing period. They never had enough time to really acclimate to any of the doors, but I think this is the one that they were the most uncomfortable with. Again, it's made from a heavy, robust material, and I think it's a bit difficult for them to push through. They don't really recognize it as a door, and it makes a fairly significant amount of noise every time that it seals shut, which I think is a little bit scary for them. So, if you have a cat who is pretty confident and comfortable using a cat door, or if you think that your cat would be comfortable using a more robust door and is motivated enough to do so, then I think that the Freedom Pet Pass could be a good choice. It is a pretty significant investment, so this door intended for cats is going to cost $259. Again, a bit more expensive than your typical door, but it could lead to savings over time. So my next recommendation is the best interior cat door. Interior cat doors are going to be a good choice if, say, you have a certain room that you want your cat to be able to access, but which you want to bar your dog, for instance, from getting into. So you want to be able to keep the door closed, but let your cat go into the room. Or maybe you want to give your cat access to a litter box enclosure. If you have a need for an interior cat door, you'll probably be aware of it. So my recommendation for this category is the Purrfect Portal Meow Manor cat door. So you may have heard of Purrfect Portal before. They're known for a line of interior doors for cats, and they recently introduced the Meow Manor as the latest addition to their lineup. The Meow Manor is a bit different from other interior doors in that it has a hinging door of its own. So you're able to open up this little door and let your cat pass through freely, or you can close it and shut your cat in or out of a specific room. I really like that this door includes a hinging door, as it gives you a lot more flexibility than you're going to get with most interior cat doors. I found that my cats were pretty comfortable going through this door. Again, I think that they're having more difficulty with the flaps and having to push through them, and having a nice open portal was a lot more comfortable for them. So overall, if you're looking for a nice interior cat door with a whimsical design that allows you to shut your cat in and out of the room, which is something that you're not going to see in a lot of other interior cat doors, then I would consider the Purrfect Portal Meow Manor. So this product currently costs $39.95 on Amazon. There will be a link in the description. Now, my next recommendation is going to be a good option if you really want to install a cat door on a sliding door, like a patio door. It is the PetSafe Freedom Patio Pet Door. So this is a glass panel that you will install along your door jamb, and which features this little flap at the bottom through which your cat can pass. If you want to keep your cat from leaving through this flap, you can slide in this plastic panel, and that's going to prevent your cat from using the door. Now, this door is pretty easy to install, and it has flexible sizing, so it should be pretty easy to find the right size for your sliding door, and it generally makes a pretty smooth addition to your sliding door. So it comes with a lock kit that's going to allow you to continue to lock your sliding door with this new panel in place, and it has a rubber weatherproofing strip that allows you to maintain a nice seal around the door. That being said, I found that the flap itself didn't have the best seal, so it has a little magnet at the bottom that's supposed to keep it shut after your cat goes through. But I found that much of the time the flap didn't close properly, and so there was definitely a gap through which air could pass. So overall, I don't think that this door has the best seal, and my experience is echoed in a lot of customer reviews. If you're interested in a cat flap that works in a sliding door, and you aren't all that concerned about getting a strong seal, then I think that this door could be a good option. Now, this door is available in a wide range of sizes to accommodate pets ranging from small cats all the way up to large dogs. So depending on which size you choose, it could cost between $129 and $209.95. And our final recommendation is going to be a good choice if you're looking for a door that you can install in a screen door or a screened window. This is the SUNKY pet screen door, but it's since become unavailable on Amazon. I found that there are a lot of similar or seemingly identical products available on Amazon, so I'll put a link to one of those in the description, as well as the original product that I'll be reviewing here. This is a very simple cat flap that is made from a rigid ABS material and then has a dense screened paw print design in the middle. It has a simple locking mechanism. You're just going to slide these two latches in order to unlock the door, and then press them outward in order to latch it. Again, this is a very simple lock. You're only able to lock it or unlock it. You're not able to restrict your cat's movement out or keep them from coming back inside. But I think that its simplicity could be part of its appeal for some people. It's pretty straightforward to install, but I think that the instructions could use some improvement. They say that you should put the frame over your screen door and then cut around the inside, which is kind of a strange approach because even if you're quite careful and you do your best to cut very, very closely to the frame, I find that you're still going to have some fragments of the screen sticking out, and those could scratch your cat. So what I ended up doing was cutting a hole that was a little bit larger than the inside of the frame in order to prevent that from happening. So aside from that complaint, it's quite easy to install, and then you have this very simple cat flap. My experience with this particular flap was pretty good. I think this was the one that my cat Wessie was the most comfortable using. I think that he seemed comfortable going through this lightweight door, and of all the doors I tried, I think this is the one that he seemed the most comfortable with. Now, according to customer reviews, most cats seem to also feel pretty comfortable with it. I have seen some reviews saying that the latches tend to break, so that could be a concern. Again, this seems to be a product that a lot of brands are purchasing and then selling on Amazon, and it's quite cheap. So I purchased this door for $13.99, and I've seen similar products going for about $20 on Amazon. So I think that's about it for our review of the best cat doors on the market. Again, if you choose to get a cat door, you're going to want to get a good one. When you're choosing the right cat door, I would consider things like where you want to put it. You're going to want to make sure that you choose a door that's going to fit in the intended location, whether you want to put it in a wall or you want to put it in a glass door or a screen door, or you want to install it somewhere on the interior of your home. You're going to consider these things when you're purchasing a door. Other things to consider include how much control you want to have over your cat's movement. Do you want to be able to monitor how your cat's moving and control the locks on the door using your smartphone, or are you okay using a door that just locks and unlocks? And these security features don't just affect your cat's movement, they're also going to affect the ability of wildlife to come through that door and access your home. So if you live in a place that has skunks and raccoons and other animals that might be interested in using a cat door, security is going to be more important. And flexibility in the way that the locks work is also going to be more important. And finally, you're going to want to think about your cat's temperament. What types of doors do you think that they're going to feel the most comfortable with? Combined with, of course, budget considerations, thinking about all of these questions is going to help you to choose a cat door that suits your cat and your needs. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or thoughts on cat doors, please let me know about them in the comments, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. You can also continue the conversation in the All About Cats forum. I'll put a link to that in the description as well as in the cards. If you did find this video helpful and you're interested in more buyer's guides, product reviews, and information on all things cats, please subscribe to the All About Cats channel and click the notification bell so you get the news every time we release a new upload. Thank you so much. Bye.